Hello, good evening. It's 10 p.m. in Accra, midnight in Johannesburg, South Africa, and 7 a.m. Sunday in Pyeongchang in South Korea. I'm Stephen Enti. Wherever you're watching us from, this is News at 10. We're live from the News Hub at Adisawi Kanda in Accra, and around the world. You can follow us on our live stream on Facebook and on 3news.com. Let's start with the major news highlights of the day. The incumbent Krowo constituency chairman of the NPP, James Amate, has lost the opportunity to lead the constituency. He lost the polls to one-time treasurer of the constituency, Joseph Atta Jima. Also, incumbent Nasara coordinator Alidu Moro collapsed upon noticing he's lost the elections and had to be carried away. The deplorable nature of roads in the Bosumtwi district of the Ashanti region is taking a negative toll on healthcare delivery there. Patronage of outpatient services at the biggest health facility, Kuntanase Government Hospital, is low as patients fear a worsening of their health conditions. Minority Leader Haruna Idrisu has entreated President Akufo-Addo to urgently convert the remaining polytechnics into technical universities. He added that it is also important government sees to it that the technical university concept works. On some customs officers interdicted at the Tema port for aiding tax evasion last year have been recalled. Commissioner General of the Ghana Revenue Authority, Emmanuel Kofinti, says the officers will resume work while internal disciplinary processes initiated by management continue. On 3 months after Mission's report on the poor state of Kolpong Chips compound, a new structure has been put up and ready to be handed over to the Health Directorate. The new building is expected to improve healthcare and stop clients from traveling long distances to access healthcare. Elsewhere, the UN Security Council has unanimously approved a resolution demanding a 30-day ceasefire in Syria. The 15-member council voted to allow aid deliveries and medical evacuations. It follows a week of intense bombardment at the eastern Ghouta rebel enclave, leaving Damascus by government forces. But after the vote, activists said airstrikes were continuing. Those were our major news highlights. Remember, you can follow our live stream on 3news.com as well as on Facebook. Let's start with our first story now. The incumbent Krowo constituency chairman of the NPP, James Amate, has lost the opportunity to lead the constituency. He lost the polls to one-time treasurer of the constituency, Joseph Atta Jima. Also, incumbent Nasara coordinator Alidu Moro collapsed upon noticing he's lost the elections and had to be carried away. My colleague Salama Menya has more.
The New Patriotic Party NPP constituency elections at the Krowo constituency was generally peaceful. Some 730 delegates were expected to vote. Out of 10 positions being contested, 8 incumbents lost their positions with the exception of organizer and women organizer. While voting was ongoing, some were seen holding posters and trying to persuade the delegate to vote for their candidate. This, the municipal electoral officer, Augustine Intiamwa, described as disappointing.
A few of the delegates are still handling posters at the polling center where we are having elections, and it is not the best. You ask whether the police, what are they doing about it? The police, they will tell you this is a party affair, so they don't want to make it. Once the contestants are not complaining, they will not come in.
At exactly 3 p.m., counting began, creating tension amongst agents and supporters. At the end of counting, Joseph Atta Jima emerged winner for the chairmanship position with 347 votes out of 725.
James Amate Ama, 130. Joseph Atajima 347. Total votes cast 725. So we have Joseph Atajima elected as chairman.
Me basa obatanya nensa ekata nemaso. I'm coming to unite them before I ebetini I win 2020. Na gi say one man polling station executive before holding.
While some jubilated, others could not comprehend the loss. Incumbent Nasara coordinator Ali Dumoro collapsed upon noticing he's lost the elections and had to be carried away. The winners were sworn in by the Member of Parliament for Koro, Elizabeth Afulekwe. She charged the elected executives to work towards keeping the party in power.
I pray that you contribute to the success that the party has earned in this constituency. We want to retain power in 2020. I urge you to work very hard to ensure that we continue this good work.
Richard Ahiagba, who is aspiring to be General Secretary of the NPP, observed the elections.
And this is what exactly we look forward to, that our party is giving the strength at the base of the party to be able to grow. What we have today is a very strong party up top. We want to change that dynamics.
And the acting General Secretary of the New Patriotic Party, John Boydo, spoke on News 360 about his assessment of voting today, Saturday, 24th February 2018. He spoke on News 360 with my colleague Issa Morning.
This election that is taking us today, tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday, but most of the were held today, and I was in about 6-8 constituencies in the Volta region, and frankly speaking, it went very well. The enthusiasm, the competitiveness of the elections, the massive interest that was shown by party people, especially in Volta region. I think that it went very, very well. Very well.
Right, John. Areas like Cape Coast North, Ablekuma Central, and the new Edubiasi area have suffered injunctions. What is the NPP doing about it?
That is to be expected. If you are looking at 275 constituencies,
yeah, and
especially considering the time in the vetting process and all that, there will be few places that there is misunderstanding that has not been redressed. And if one decides to settle it in the law court, I don't think that is something untoward. We in our party believe in the rule of law. So at the end of the process, we will have finished with close to 95-96% of the 275 constituencies. So the few ones that you are mentioning and few others, we just concentrate within a week or two to be able to resolve those issues. So by the time we get to the regional elections, that will be around 20th, 22nd, about in April, we'll have finished with all the constituencies. So by the time we the national elections, that is around middle of June, all constituencies, 275 constituencies, will be on board to elect national officers of our party. So it is well within plan, it is anticipated, and I think that it's been well.
So, John, how about one area like the Menchia area? The elections were conducted without an EC official. Aren't you expecting some challenges from those areas?
Yes, we've farmed out national officers to all the regions. FFANTO, for instance, is in that region. Ubibwa is in the Half of Kamadi is in Upper West Northern region. We have a Dumakupeshi in Central. Chema himself was in Central region. We have Ajia Saudatu in Western region. Myself and Abonto were in the Volta region. We receive reports of events and we review the reports as we receive them from the various regions and constituencies, and firm decisions to be taken in some of these areas.
And former President John Dramani Mahama has likened his defeat at the hands of the New Patriotic Party in the 2016 elections to the fate of Ghana's first president, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, to the fate he suffered in 1966. The former president made this comparison at the party's unity walk in Somanya in the Eastern region.
Speaking at the NDC's Unity Walk held in the Eastern region, John Mahama said like Nkrumah, he focused on developmental issues while the opposition maligned him. He quoted a famous response from the first president, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, after his overthrow, that he never knew Ghanaians wanted milk and sardine.
Kwame Nkrumah said something when he was in exile. He said that he didn't know that it was milk and sardine Ghanaians wanted. That he wouldn't have built Akosombo. He would have distributed sardine and milk free to Ghanaians. And they say history repeats itself. When you're busy working, constructing roads, building hospitals, opening water systems, you're extending electricity, people say, we don't eat roads. We don't eat hospitals. We don't eat schools. And they make all kinds of promises. And so Ghanaians vote them back into power.
John Mahama also took a swipe at the New Patriotic Party over its inability to reduce petrol prices.
In December last year, petrol was selling at 14 cedis. And we were told that it was too expensive and that 50% of the petrol was made up of taxes alone. And that when they win and come into office, they will remove the taxes so that petrol will sell at 7 cedis. Today, petrol is selling at 22 cedis per gallon. I'm even more concerned about LPG because LPG was about 40 cedis before December 7th. Today, LPG is more than 80 cedis. And what it means is that for those who cannot afford LPG, they will go back to using charcoal.
The former president said it was not too late to have a national conversation about free SHS, since the current module was bedeviled with several challenges.
We all agree on the concept of free senior high school. Where we differ is about progressively. Somebody decides that he wants to implement it within 3 years. You don't have enough dormitories. You don't have enough classrooms. You don't have enough textbooks. You don't have enough laboratories. You don't have enough dining halls. You don't have administration blocks. And yet you say in 3 years, for a program that is so fundamental, you have no policy, you have no guideline, you are just implementing it in an ad hoc manner.
The NDC Walk, an initiative of the former president, is on its 6th stop in the 6th region. The walk was described as the longest so far, involving some 16 kilometers. Former President Mahama admonished the party faithful to register by February 28 to be able to take part in the party's constituency elections.
You're still watching News at 10 live from the News Hub at Addis Ababa. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Now, fisherfolk in Azizanya in the Adan East district have reiterated calls on the Ministry of Fisheries and Aquaculture Development not to disband the Fisheries Task Force. They argue that the task force has led to significant improvement in the industry. The fishermen are also warning those still engaged in illegal fishing practices to desist from the bad practices.
Azizanya is a predominant fishing community. The community was noted for illegal, unregulated and unreported fishing practices, also known as IUU fishing. Experts say the illegal, unregulated and unreported fishing practices are detrimental to the sustainability of the fishing industry. The quest of the people of Azizanya to clean up the mess coincided with the formation of the Fisheries Task Force. The Fisheries Task Force, based at Azizanya, has so far arrested a number of light fishermen, some of whom have been convicted. The initiative, though dangerous, the fisherfolk of Azizanya reckoned it has been worthwhile.
Since they are not going to the fishing as before, we were able to catch some type of fish which some of us didn't even know. To catch them in abundance.
But just as the people are beginning to count their successes, the ministry has directed that the activities of the task force be suspended.
We had to stop them because we realized that the situation deteriorated to the extent that they were even fighting at sea. And personally, I became scared. Okay, so we had to stop them from working. Yeah. Because he's not a policeman, he's a colleague fisherman. I will not mind him. I will not listen.
But the fisherfolk of Azizanya disagreed with the minister. They insist the ministry must remain resolute in its efforts to stamp out illegal fishing practices. They also sent a note of caution to those engaged in illegal fishing to stop.
Because we will not sit down, be watching our own colleagues using bad methods of fishing to destroy.
And the Volta Regional Industrial and Commercial Workers Union has backed calls to resist any deduction from their salaries in support of the National Health Insurance Scheme. The Deputy General Secretary in charge of operations, Morgan Ayawene, at a media encounter said unless proper consultations are done, no one dares touch a penny from their earnings.
The National Health Insurance Scheme, NHIS, was instituted some 14 years ago after wide consultations and piloting. However, the scheme has remained bedeviled with a myriad of challenges that continue to affect effective implementation. Notable among these challenges are alleged mismanagement and abuse of funds. Services have dipped over the years contrary to the increasing volume of contributions. 2.5% of workers' SSNIT contributions go directly into the scheme, yet government is proposing a further 1% deduction. This, the Industrial and Commercial Workers Union ICU observed cannot be done without their consent.
We are not in any way against any system to give us a very good health delivery system. But then we are saying that you must look at where to pick the money from. We have an endowment fund there. We have the heritage fund. And they are saying that they want to use it for free education. If you are not healthy, can you go to school? So they must prioritize that you give people good health, then after that they can go to school.
The Deputy General Secretary in charge of operations, Morgan Ayawene, outlined reasons why the over 80,000 members must resist the attempt.
We should demand from government to reduce taxes, but it's not the work of organized labor to go around this country and ask workers to pay more toward their health care. No. How many people are working? We have turned out a lot of students from schools, and they have come to add up to the army of unemployed students on our streets. And these same people who are working are the ones who will have to share their financials, their incomes with this army of unemployed students.
From the World Health Organization, WHO, indicate that over 13,400 people die every year due to household air pollution. Records from the Forestry Commission also shows that in the last 40 years, 70% of the country's forest cover has reduced drastically due to fuel harvesting.
The country's forest reserve now stands at 1.6 million hectares from 1.8 million hectares in the past 4 decades. This has largely been blamed on fuel harvesting and deforestation. Against this backdrop, Ghana Alliance for Clean Cookstoves and other partners initiated a policy to safeguard the environment. The National Program Coordinator, Raymond Kusugbo, said the time had come to revitalize effort and bring all stakeholders to take action to promote clean cookstoves construction, at all levels of society. He stressed clean cookstoves play important roles in improving livelihoods, reducing deforestation and indoor air pollution.
We are targeting that about 2 million cookstoves to be distributed to households, and also we are targeting to support the government policy of ensuring that about 50% of households adopt LPG by the year 2030.
He decried the extent to which traditional cooking with solid biomass continue to affect health and economy of the country.
We believe that supporting the cause of the government to change and reverse this situation through adopting of clean cooking model as an intervention of climate change mitigation will help to ensure that we restore confidence in the environment, ensure that we adopt clean cooking technologies that will save lives, that will generate income and job employment for the youth in the country.
Lovans Osutechi, director of Institute for Sustainable Energy and Environmental Solutions, believes that one way to reverse the trend is to encourage the development of clean and improved cookstoves such as electric cookstoves, biogas, among others.
Educate district assemblies about the benefits of the clean cooking solutions for the rural households and then street food vendors and agro-processors, so that when they are aware of the significant impact on improving the health of women and children at the grassroots level, improving the livelihoods of people by helping them save charcoal.
He therefore called on all stakeholders to drive the adoption of clean cookstoves to ensure that attention was given to all levels of society for behavioral change.
And contractors working on the multi-million-dollar Kejetia redevelopment project have extended the completion date to June. Litigation over a parcel of land on the site caused the delay, but the issue has been resolved and works have begun. Here's a report by correspondent Ibrahim Abubakar.
Over 8,000 traders would be accommodated when the project is complete. Petty traders and transport terminals would be allocated space, contrary to earlier suspicion by the traders that only shop owners will have access to the facility. The construction of a technical area, which houses the sewage system, water, electricity and gas installations, came to a halt due to litigation over the land area. Consultant of the project, Emmanuel Danso, says the matter has been resolved. With 80% of work completed, he is optimistic the project will be handed over by June this year.
For me, what is left here is the road network. As for the shops and other stuff, we are doing just the finishing touches. We are done.
The leadership of the traders' associations were conducted round the facility to familiarize themselves with progress of work.
So we as the beneficiary, we should have been allowed in the first place to come and see. Today, they have made that possible, and we think we are very much happy.
Today is our first time of having access to the project. We've gone round with the leadership of the Kejetia Traders Association. On our side, we may say we are impressed.
Completion of the first phase of a $300 million market is expected to boost economic activities in and around Kumasi.
And that's how we wrap up with News at 10. I'm Stephen N.T. Thank you very much for staying. On behalf of the crew here, good night. There is more news at 3news.com.